Is there a silver lining to the threat the Chinese Communist Party poses to free nations in the South China Sea? In the following segment, a Taiwanese military expert sheds light on why Japan treats Taiwan Emergency as its own. Over 90% of Japanese adults believe that Japan should prepare for an emergency response in case Beijing decides to invade Taiwan, according to a recent poll. According to a May 27th to May 29th poll by Japanese media Nikkei Asia on the issue of how Japan should prepare for a possible Chinese invasion of Taiwan, 50% of respondents said that Japan should do as much as possible within the scope of existing laws. And 41% said Japan should improve its responsiveness, including revising the country's constitution as needed. Together, over 90% said they believe it is necessary for Japan to make preparations in case of a Taiwan emergency, while 60% also expressed support for Japan to possess its own counter-strike capabilities. In the event of an emergency in Taiwan, Japan may take action in accordance with the provisions of the Peace and Security Law. This law allows the Japanese self-defense forces to provide necessary support, activities in a situation that has an important influence on Japan's peace and security, or threatens international peace and security. Recently assassinated former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has also publicly expressed his support of Taiwan. In a video conference with Tsai Ing-wen, President of the Republic of China, on March 22nd, Abe said, "Last year at a seminar held by Taiwan think tank, I said that if Taiwan has a problem, then Japan has a problem. And the Japan-US alliance also has a problem. Of course, this was a way of expressing my own sense of urgency, and I myself advocated for the concept of a free and open Indo-Pacific." What need does Japan have to support Taiwan? In an interview with the Epoch Times on June 1st, Su Ziyun, an associate research fellow at Taiwan's Institute for National Defense and Security Research, said there are three main reasons. The first reason is the need to defend the common value of democracy because the democratic systems are currently threatened by the CCP authoritarian regime. It is apparent that the CCP is attempting to expand its authoritarian rule. Su said, "The Chinese Communist Party manipulates, as Su says, by using democratic means to destroy democracy and freedom of speech to destroy the freedom of speech," he said. Su continues, "Just as former U.S. President Donald Trump has said, the CCP destroys free trade through free trade, in other words, through unfair competition. Therefore, the evil conducts of the CCP are in the same line, regardless of the economical, political, or military aspects," he added, saying that the CCP has been infiltrating major democratic countries worldwide, including the European Union, the United States, and Australia. Additionally, the CCP is exporting its model of digital authoritarianism, such as exporting surveillance technology to some monarchies in the Middle East, which is concerning to democratic countries, Su says. Moreover, the CCP acts irresponsibly as a member of the international community, he continues. The CCP wants to subvert the stability of the rules-based international society by creating another set of rules. He adds, "When the United States invited China to join the World Trade Organization, it originally hoped that the CCP would carry out political reforms after China's economy had improved." Su said instead of embarking on the right path, it went the other way, deviating farther and farther away from democracy, now posing a threat to human civilization. Su explains, "My observation is this is not merely a Taiwan Strait issue, nor is it a so-called reunification issue at all. The Taiwan Strait issue is a competition between democracy and authoritarianism, and that is the key." According to Su, the second reason for Japan's support of Taiwan is for reasons of national security. This includes 76% of its natural gas and 90% of Japan's crude oil shipments that rely on access via the South China Sea. Japan's exports to Europe rely entirely on access through the South China Sea. Su explains, That is why Japan's political elites believe that if Taiwan has a problem, then Japan has a problem. Its quote-unquote maritime lifeline is really dependent on Taiwan being secure. Su elaborates that the CCP's military expansionism is another reason for Japan to support Taiwan. The CCP has become a real threat to world peace because it is obsessed with military expansion, thinking that only military expansion will guarantee national security, according to Su. The Democratic camp has now formed a stronger alliance under the threat of CCP expansion. Su explains that Putin's invasion of Ukraine is a very good analogy. He achieved what neither Trump nor Biden have, which is to unite all of NATO. A May 28th article from the Japan Times revealed that the Japanese government is discussing a relaxation of export control measures relative to defense equipment. The hope is to strengthen Allied cooperation against the CCP. In 2014, Japan established what they call the 3 Principles on Transfer of Defense Equipment and Technology as a first step to ease the arms export ban, whilst the prohibition on the export of lethal weapons remained. According to these principles, exports to countries that do not jointly develop arms with Japan are limited to equipment for rescue, transport, warning, surveillance, and minesweeping missions. Su told the Epoch Times that there is currently no direct military cooperation between Taiwan and Japan. Assuming that Japan eventually eases its export rules, Taiwan may consider purchasing submarines from Japan. Su says the performance of Japan's submarines is superb and that they'll be a very important defense tool for Taiwan in fighting asymmetrical warfare with the CCP. The second category for Taiwan to consider, according to Su, is electronic warfare equipment, as Japan's electronic technology is also very advanced. Su continued, there is another cooperation that is relatively easy to achieve in the short term. That is, strategic intelligence cooperation. Su believes that Taiwan and Japan may get started with an alliance centered around developing joint economic security first, before proceeding with a military alliance. Su explains this is because we want to make sure the bilateral cooperation is set on solid and steady ground.